Hey everybody, this is episode 4 and we are recording this on Wednesday. I lie, it is Thursday because I don't know my days of the week. But we have a very special call-in guest, Mr. Dave Landau of the Anthony Cumia Show with Dave Landau. And I am in contact with him right now and I'm going to text him now, and he will be calling in. We'll be doing this over speakerphone, so hopefully everything picks up and does what it's supposed to do, because if it doesn't, I am what you would call fucked. Okay, I'm texting him now. Anytime. I'm texting him to call anytime. When... Okay, call. What do I say? What do I say? I'm nervous. I'm like a little bitch. I'm nervous. I said keep it to 20. Well, whatever. Okay. Good to go. All right. Let's see what happens now. See if he just gives the old call. See what happens. Now I have to sit here nervously and wait. This is uncomfortable. Is very uncomfortable. I never do good in uncomfortable social situations. Thank God my buddy Tito is here to help calm the nerves slightly. But I don't know how that's going to go. Dave's a recovering alcoholic. We'll find out. So, waiting on the call. Philadelphia Phillies fans, I don't want to get into this too much because I don't want to, have to stop, but how excited are we? As a Philadelphia sports fan, Bryce Harper just signed today. The reported deal is 13 years. 13 fucking years. $330 million. Can you imagine $330 million? That's just crazy. What does that even come to? I don't want to pull up my calculator on my phone, but what does that even come to? How many is that? Was it 35 a year? 30 something a year? I don't know. There's got to be a way to find that out. Let's see if I can pull it up on my calculator here. I'm sure people have already done this in their head 400 fucking times. 330 million. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Divided by 13. That's only 25 a year, right? That's all it says here is 25 a year. That's different. All right. Dave will be calling in a minute, as he says. 1 whole minute. Hope you started your stopwatches. Watches? God, why do I do this? I don't know why I even have a podcast. All I do is, when I actually have guests, unless they're like somebody I know well, I walk around all day like When I had David Fine on for the first time, the broadcaster for the Reading Royals hockey team here in Reading, Pennsylvania, the whole day I was nervous. Why am I nervous? Anyway, 13 years, $330 million, no opt-out clause. For those that don't know, there was debate back and forth whether Bryce Harper wanted to opt out after 3 years and whether the Phillies were going to give him that. But it turns out he wanted 13 years. He didn't want the opt-out. He didn't want... I guess the way it sounds now is he had a team... He didn't want a team opt-out is how I take this. Because he didn't want the team to go, hey, you suck after 2 days. We're going to opt out of your contract and you get no money. So I completely understand that. I'm messing around with this Minds thing. I told you that on the last podcast. This Minds social media network. I posted like one or two things, and I commented on one or two things, and I've gotten some followers and things like that. It's a different platform. It seems I don't understand what happens if somebody out there uses Minds, which I doubt you do. Well, there's like 1 million people that use it, but it's not like a Twitter or Facebook. It's significantly smaller. Why does my news feed... it's almost... Oh, hold on. Dave's calling. Okay. Mr. Dave Landau.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Good, buddy. Good. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to call someone with 10 followers. It's really nice to have you on.
Well, thank you. Are we starting already?
Oh, yeah. By the way, you're on.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
I don't know. I didn't know anything about you until I started watching the Anthony Cumia show on the Compound Media. And I quickly became a fan. You kind of fit right in there with your quickness and your quick wit. And, boy, this is starting off like our first meeting that I'm sure you don't remember. I met you at the Steel Stacks at the Sands.
Yeah, I met you at... Well, didn't I meet you at the drug and alcohol show?
Yes. Yes, you did.
I believe you had been drinking.
How could you tell? Because I panicked like a 9-year-old girl meeting like Hanson. I came up to you.
No.
I came up to you and I said, and by the way, the show had not started yet. You were the headliner. And I came up to you and I said, oh shit, I hope I didn't miss your set. And you looked at me like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yes. The show hasn't started just yet. Fine.
So, as a young man, by the way, Dave Landau of the Anthony Cumia Show, with Dave Landau, funny comedian, great stand-up comic. At that show, my fiance and I laughed our asses off. It was a great time. Thank
you.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, dude. You like, I never heard your stand-up until that night, and it was phenomenal.
I appreciate that.
When we had I won't say you and I have a similar childhood, but I was kind of a shit kid, and
yeah, so probably fairly similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was.
What were some, like, growing up, what type of kid if you had to describe yourself and kind of how your parents viewed you, what would you say?
It depends on what age. You know, when I was younger, like elementary school, early middle school, I think they would call me like artistic, not autistic, but like artistic, like, very creative, somewhat shy and quiet, kind of, and reserved. And then, I guess 8th grade through my 5 years of high school, they probably say I was a piece of shit.
So what changed? I mean, obviously, I know your background, and the people that watch certain programs that you're on know your background. Let's just put it out there. When did the drugs and alcohol come into play?
8th grade, really heavy in 9th grade. But yeah, probably in about 8th grade, my dad had gotten sick with a brain tumor, and I kind of was rebelling. So I started using, pretty heavy in 9th grade. And, by the time 10th grade rolled around, I was a serious alcoholic. And by my junior year, I would shake if I didn't take a drink. So it was, it all took a hold pretty quickly. Plus, I was becoming like that rebellious teen, and I wanted to be popular and everybody to like me. plus combined with shyness and anxiety and insecurity, that just adds to all that shit. So it was just like, I was a powder keg, and it just blew up, right around ninth grade.
So did it all start with alcohol, or were you doing other stuff? Because for me personally, it was bullshit highs. Like, it was like garbage stuff. Like, I believe it was 7th or 8th grade. Same time. This is actually now making me think I should do something about myself. But 7th or 8th grade, my best friend Derek and I would take 12 to 15 or whatever it was, however many we could take, of Coracetin cold and cough pills, and just stumble. Not even stumble, because it didn't make you like drunk high. You had the most energy in the world, and for some reason you didn't want to do anything, and yawning was the best feeling I've ever had in my life. So was it just alcohol?
No, not at all. But like what I was saying, like mini thins and all that stuff. I remember I did a lot of that, or like drank a lot of Jolt soda, shit like that before I ever tried anything. But
sure.
No, it was ever. I started with alcohol, but I guess before that was weed, and then after weed, I was a huge acid freak.
Acid?
We've tried to count with my friends and I. Like, I know it's over 350 hits, and
Jesus.
I was huge into LSD. So that was a huge thing for me in high school, was LSD, magic mushrooms. Eventually the ecstasy boom came, and I didn't use much of that. I sold it, but I didn't use a lot of it just because I didn't like it as much as everybody else did. I'd rather, trip, or I snorted a lot of ketamine, did a lot of pills. I was hooked on cocaine. I was briefly hooked on opiate painkillers, which was an accident anyway, because I had broken my leg in a spilled beer injury.
Okay, you got to tell me that story.
I was at a house party. I want to say I was 19 maybe, and this was like after high school, and I was making fun of my friend for being fat, and he tackled me, and there was beer spilled on a linoleum floor next to a keg, so my body went one way, and everything below my knee went the other.
Ay. And you were at a high-priced, we probably had some high-priced house with that nice linoleum floor.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's a lovely Detroit home. And instead of getting proper help, two of my friends who were very large, like football players, just carried me around the party on their shoulders all night. And then the next morning I woke up and realized I couldn't feel my leg, and I tore my meniscus, ACL, all those whatever things, and then I busted off part of my kneecap, and now I got 3 rods. Yeah, in my right knee, and that was all from a drinking injury, so they gave me Vicodin.
Oh, my God.
And I took a shitload of Vicodin, and I used to work at a pharmacy where we'd steal pills like 5 years before this.
That's not a good place for you, Dave.
No, it wasn't. And, back then I just would take a lot of stuff that was like more barbiturates, or, more the Valium sort of family. And, I got hooked on Vicodin and painkillers, and then I got off of them fairly quick. I mean, the withdrawal from that's a real motherfucker. But alcohol was always my favorite. Like, that was my drug of choice, and that's always the one that I had a problem with. And I was arrested 13 times, and 12 of which were under the age of 21. And that was all alcohol offenses. I mean, I had situations where I had a pipe on me and shit like that, but it was all alcohol offenses.
That's insane to me, because I mean, I guess it should be, but I was always afraid. Like, you were talking about the LSD and the acid. I guess I'm just a pussy, because I was terrified, because all I heard was, oh, you get sick and you throw up when you take that stuff. And I was always afraid that I'd be out with my friends and I get a tummy ache, and I wouldn't want to enjoy the night.
Oh, no. No, it really doesn't affect affect your stomach at all. It's just a small tab, you know, so it really is just very much your headspace. So it's sort of, no, that stuff never would make you sick. I mean, I never got sick off that or even magic mushrooms or anything. I got plenty of sick off the alcohol, but I mean, a lot of people were terrified of tripping because it's this tiny little tab that,
sure,
you know, sort of takes you to another dimension for 8 to 12 hours.
that's a short period of time, you know.
Yeah, and I was terrified of the idea of it, but then I remember one night my friend Ray took 19 hits, and I took 13 hits, and like we were really starting to go crazy. And then one time it was like 6 or 7 hits of Jesus Christ acid. And
it was called Jesus Christ?
Yeah, it's called Jesus Christ, yeah.
Wow.
It was it's called Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ was known as like the super acid, the stuff that was like, you know, you'd like Timothy Leary acid. So when the guy said he had it, we kind of just thought, like, you're full of shit, you know?
Right.
So instead of just taking one and seeing if he was honest, we just took everything we bought.
Oh.
And I tripped for a week, and I don't mean like came down and felt weird. I mean, I tripped my balls up for 7 days.
Jesus Christ.
After that, I never took it again.
How the hell did you not put a fucking bullet in your head? Jesus Christ. I've been on things where I came down and felt weird and wanted to do that.
Yeah, no, I've had, it was interesting because my friend who took it with me, my friend Ray, came to pick me up because he was freaking out. This was like the first or second night, and he had cut open his arm and then sealed it shut with a lighter. And when I got it, I didn't know what he had done. I was just like, why is your arm all like bubbly and bloody? And he's like, well, I was trying to get the bad blood out, so I cut out my arm.
Jesus
And
Christ.
then I sealed it shut with the lighter. And I was like, oh, okay, well, we shouldn't sit in front of my house. I don't want to get in trouble. And we just drove away with him behind the wheel.
Okay, I take it back. You're way worse than me.
Yeah, it's hard to, like, even when I hear myself talk about it, I'm like, oh, Jesus, I forgot I lived this. Like, yeah, I stopped. You know, I think it definitely had negative effects. There's no doubt about that.
It can't not. Do you have any
yeah, it's impossible.
Do you have any lasting effects from it, like today, that you deal with because of what you did then?
I don't know how to identify it, you know. I don't know how to say, hey, it's because of this or what, you know, any particular thing. But yeah, I mean, my speech is a little slower than it once was. My brain still works as fast, but it's keeping up with that, you know. I mean, well, actually, I'm sure my brain doesn't, but I don't notice. I think maybe just from spirals and looking at the sun a lot, I definitely noticed I had eye damage, which I think was a large result of drug use. And I got LASIK. But yeah, I mean, like, dude, I'm 5'5" and a half. My twin brother's like half a foot taller than me.
Yes.
I definitely fucked something up, you know. Like,
Okay, we're spending a ton of time, and I know you're pressed for time here. So let's go on with some of the bullet points I have written down that I want to know about you.
yeah, for sure.
Awkward moments with girls. I know the sock in the dryer story. I know that story where you came home with a girl and and your mom found dry socks and they sounded like they had shoes in the dryer and she confronted you in front of a girl. Is there any other? Because I have a lot of them. I lived a lot of really awkward moments with females. For example, I lied about my dick size to a girl and she was blowing me in the back of my friend's van and he was in the front with his girlfriend. She got out, he got out of the van, and the interior light came on, and with my dick in her mouth, I hear, because she realized I lied, and she laughed with my cock in her mouth. So...
God, yeah, there's some horrific ones. The one that's the worst, I never talked about this, but I brought it up recently on Bob Kelly's podcast, because we were getting into the subject, and I had just talked to my therapist about this, and I was when I was a teenager, I was having sex with a girl when I heard my mom scream, and it's when my dad was really sick, so I immediately, while having sex with this girl, was like, my dad died, and my mom was screaming, like knocking on the door if we had to go to the hospital, and I couldn't do anything because my dick was in a girl.
Oh my God.
So my mom had to leave without me to go identify my dad, and then I had to drive there later drunk and high after this girl just had, like, you know, all the fun that she'll, like, she turned white as a ghost. It was so fucking awkward. And we didn't have sex after that.
No, that young ladies frown upon that type of experience.
There's nothing worse than, like, do you like this? A scream, and then I think my dad did. I snuck her into my room, too, because I was a teenager, so I wasn't supposed to be doing that, obviously.
Sure.
And,
along with the drugs and the alcohol, you should not be having sex.
Exactly, yes. And this girl, though, was certainly a partier. She's the one that introduced me to cocaine, so I think we're even. Sure.
I would say she had a negative impact on your life as well.
Exactly.
Now, do you have this thing with the? Oh, okay, all right. Sorry, I'm way off track, and I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff in quick.
No, we can keep going. It's all good.
Okay. Do you find yourself, as far as the girls back then go? I was always attracted to girls that wore nothing but black and Janko jeans and hoodies because I knew they were probably having parental issues and they were probably easier and they always put out. I was that way. Like my fiance and Patrice O'Neill kind of had a joke about this where he said, you know, if you ask a woman, you take Brad Pitt and you say, would you fuck Brad Pitt and risk your entire marriage, kids, and all that, you know, if you could just have sex with him one time? And a lot of women would say no. But if you ask a guy, hey, would you fuck that girl passed out drunk behind the dumpster? They'd say, well, you know, she looks kind of cute with the trash on her and everything.
Guys are shit. That's really the difference between men and women. As horny and terrible as women think they are, they have no idea that testosterone is made in hell by Satan.
So I guess I'm asking, did you have the same thought as me? As I went towards the trashy girls, which kind of alienated me from the ones I was hoping to get with, because they saw me with them.
Yeah, I wasn't the Janko jeans girls, because for some reason at my school, they were always kind of completely damaged.
I guess I went for low-hanging fruit, Dave.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I hit that with one. I'm not saying that. I kind of. I guess it's the old if she smokes, she pokes. If she's smoking weed with you, if she, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Clearly, she's allowed out past 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. and nobody's looking for her. You know. Yeah, I definitely found it a lot easier. Fortunately, back then, though, I mean, I was really good with girls because they just seemed to like me. I think that was maybe my confidence. I don't know if I had any confidence, but I think it might have been just the fact that I was such a fuck up. So there were just a lot of. I was lucky enough in that department.
You were the bad boy.
I guess, yeah. Like I was always able. Like again, I wasn't able to land like the hot, popular chick that I was friends with, but I could land like her seventh banana.
I completely get it. And here's the thing, Dave.
Yeah.
I couldn't even land that. My best friend was you, the bad boy, who got the girls that were the seventh banana, and I was sitting there going, I just want to be loved.
Yeah, my friend Ray, who sliced his arm open, was kind of like
you. Thanks, appreciate that.
Well, I don't mean that as an insult. I'm just
no, it's completely true. I talk about it a lot on the show about how I was such a bitch back then. But by the way,
it's because you're insecure. So I mean, if you find somebody who's having the same insecurities, it just makes it way easier. I mean, it's not even it's not even that shitty to say. It's just being honest.
It is being honest. It's not shitty to say at all. My insecurity led me, and I talked about this on my show too, to when a girl was, I was very young. A girl broke up with me, and I listened to the Aerosmith song "Angel" while going to sleep and cried like a bitch.
Oh my!
Cried like a bitch, Dave.
Well, there was I've been there though. That's the problem. Is even when you're young. I remember talking to my friend, and my girlfriend, who I loved, had just dumped me, and I was like, every song on the radio seems to be about a breakup or a relationship, and my friend's just like, yeah, that's how songs work. and he was right.
Yes.
I had that same thing where I would hear a song that was reminiscent of, that time, and I remember there's a terrible song that a girl who I loved once gave me a light show to with glow sticks, and we had broken up. And
she gave you a light show?
Yeah, with glow sticks when you were on ecstasy.
Oh, see, I didn't know about the ecstasy in the story. Sorry, now it makes sense.
Oh no, yeah. Sorry, I thought I said that. And now it does make sense. Otherwise, it's just bizarre.
Yeah, I agree.
She did it to this song called "Castles in the Sky."
Okay.
So whenever I would hear this weird, trancy, fucking, I'll just say what it is, like super effeminate song, I would get a little misty, and that's just sad and pathetic.
Oh my God! Why? Such a bitch back in the day I was. All right, so you got you were in your drug and alcohol induced haze. When did you? And I don't know if you want to talk about this. This is completely up to you.
It's fine.
Do you want to? When did you meet your wife? In this whole process,
I met her in 2003 at the Second City in Detroit when I was 20. I think I was 20.
Okay, so this is still
19, 20. Yeah.
This is still incredibly fucked up Dave Landau.
No. Well, yes, but I had found Second City and I started taking classes in theater and filmmaking, so my shit was far more together than it had been in the past.
And how'd you get there?
I passed away. I moved to LA, and long story, but I was maintaining. I wasn't sober, but I was not a disaster at this time.
So none of the 13 arrests were when you were with your wife?
Number 13 was, not the first 12.
Okay. I'm sorry. That's just not the first 12. Okay, so you didn't have a ton of the trials and tribulations there, or did you have the? Well, I guess if you were still not having your shit together, I guess you would have had to go through the getting clean phase while you were with your wife.
Say it again. Sorry, you cut out.
Oh, I'm sorry. The getting off of everything and becoming sober had to happen then after you had met your wife.
Yes, it did. We were married and living together, and I came home drunk one night from playing poker around the corner, and I noticed that my tire was flat on my car, and I thought it would be a good idea at that moment to drive up to a gas station and fill it up.
So ambitious while we're drunk, aren't we?
Yeah. So, the tire was low, but as I drove, it got real low. And as I'm driving, it's obviously, I'm swerving, it's making me swerve. I'm sure there's sparks or some shit. And then I got pulled over for a DUI, and I put my mug shot on the show from that and everything. And I was 27, and I just couldn't believe what I had turned into, And I had actually done stuff on television for comedy and was doing really well, but alcohol it's a very interesting thing because it just crept up behind me and had taken me over, and I didn't even notice that, for a couple of years there, I had been really just a blackout drunk, and I don't know how we managed to maintain, but we did.
So after that, you just said, after that arrest, You just said, fuck it, I'm done? Like, I'm doing something?
Yes. After that, kind of. It cost me $20,000 for that. Then I had a blow starter in my car, and I was wearing an alcohol tether. So I was going around the country with getting my blood monitored, so I could actually to be able to go and do my job as a comedian, I had to be tested. So I was going around the country performing in bars with an alcohol monitor on my leg and a blow starter in my car. And after that had happened, I had the choice to be sober or to use the second that came off my leg, and my choice was to get sober.
Now, well, you kind of got forced into sobriety to start that, to kind of initiate everything. Did you go through any kind of withdrawals or anything like that?
I've been to rehab many times. Like I said, I've been arrested many times. I had been through a lot of shit many times, so sobriety wasn't something that was a stranger to me. It's something that, people tried to get me there many times.
Just didn't always stick.
First time, it never did, and this time I wanted it for me.
Oh, well, I guess that's what makes the difference. Wanting it for yourself instead of wanting it for other people.
100%.
Okay, well, now that we're all depressed, how did you decide, all right, I don't want any other job in the world. I want to go up on a stage and I want to make people laugh. I want to be a comedian. I want to go up and this is what I want to do. Because I look at it, and I've been close many times to going to open mics, and I know people that do go to open mics, and I've always just kind of been like, I fucking hate getting up there. Like, I know I'm going to suck for a while because that's what everybody kind of does, except unless you're Bert Kreischer and you fucking are a drunk college fucking genius, and you go around and you make people laugh your first, like, well, not first, every goddamn show you ever do. But,
Right.
But like, how do you get through that? How do you go, this is what I'm doing?
I had always had an interest in comedy, more SNL and sketch. So after I had spent 5 years in high school, and I didn't really have, I have report cards with all F's and stuff, I joined the Second City, and I started taking classes in film and theater. So once I got to Second City, I was learning how to write sketches, perform. I was learning about how to edit film and at community college, and then I was writing plays and stuff like that, comedy plays, and I loved it. And then my wife and my friend Marty my girlfriend at the time and my friend Marty suggested that I really should do an open mic and do stand-up because I was always writing sketches and, my writing was strong. So I went and did an open mic, and I didn't bomb. I didn't do well, but I didn't bomb because I had been used to performing. I had gone on stage as an improviser and gotten laughs, so I kind of had a stage presence. But I had always had an interest in stand-up. It had always been something that was very rebellious to me. When I was young, I always thought it was cool. I used to watch Eddie Murphy and Pryor, Dangerfield. My dad gave me Carlin. I always had an interest in it. But I don't know, for some reason that day when I went on stage, once I did it, I realized that's what I wanted to pursue.
And it never feels like a job? Like they always say that.
Oh, fuck yeah, it does.
That's what I don't understand. It's something you love to do, but yet there's got to be nights where you go, fuck, I don't want to go on. I don't want to do this benefit. I don't want to do this show that I fucking booked however long ago. You get to the day and you're just like, I don't want to do it. But you have to go up there and kind of just go. I don't know how you do it. Because the emotion and everything when you're doing your act, the enthusiasm matters in what you're doing. And
yeah, fortunately, when you're fairly dry like I am, you don't have to fake too much enthusiasm. So that's at least a benefit. But in my stories and everything, once I get on the stage, like, I want to give people a show, and I want to do my job. So, like, once I get up there, I want to do the best job I can.
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, no, I don't want to fly to fucking Decatur, Illinois, and go to some fucking place I've never been with people I've met. You know, nobody wants to do that, but I mean, I'm lucky I get to. But
yeah,
of course, yeah. There's days, and I mean, it's a hard road, and I did a lot of jobs before that. I did a lot of job steering. It's a very difficult thing, and it looks easy because good comics make it look easy.
Absolutely.
And it's not, you know, and it's like the thing about it is you just have to learn to hear no and be judged constantly, and it's, you know, you have to develop a thick skin or you can't survive in it. And
to hear no,
I'm glad that I stayed.
To hear no and be judged constantly. Well, that's me in every sexual relationship I've been in. But,
well, there you go.
But, one last thing I need to know about before we go. I need to know how you felt in the moment during the Kevin Brennan incident on Jim and Sam. Like, were you ready to fight there?
No, I didn't want to because, like, I mean, I have a criminal record, and that's why I said something along the lines of, if you hit me, go to jail. You know, it's a weird thing because it was just, in the moment it felt terrible, but it feels worse now because neither Kevin or I wanted that, and it just ended up being something that was so fucking over the top and crazy that it was just not a representation of what I am or who I am. I get pissed, and I reacted very more animalistic than calm, and like I got mad. You know, we all have bad days, and to me, it's like I just think a very bad day, unfortunately, got caught on film at a very public level, and a lot of people don't look at it like it's bad, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people think it's funny and whatever, so it's like, but for me and my own personal taste in what I do, that wasn't a representation of me, and then, you know, Kevin and I work together. I see him all the time. It's not, you know, it was just a kind of a gag, really, you know.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to know. Well, I don't think it was a gag at the time. I think you were both very honest about your feelings at the time. I think you were both very heated from the outside looking in.
And I think I'm partially to blame in that sense, though.
Do you think that Kevin starts things out, and, you know, he cannot possibly go through every second of his life being the way he is on air? He just can't?
Oh, no, it's a persona, yeah. I mean, it's I think that he meant that to be something else because I wasn't necessarily familiar with the radio world. I don't know. I don't think we both knew each other well enough to try to pull off a radio style.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Did you know that that's kind of how he was at the time? Because it didn't seem like it.
No, I had no idea what any of it was about.
So to you, it was completely, this is this guy coming at me.
That's all it was.
And
yeah,
that's what it looked like.
That's how I saw it. And then I've been in it longer, and I see how it works and whatever, you know. But yeah, I mean, that cost, you know, I mean, there's just a lot of shit that came with that, you know, if I could rewind time, I would have handled it completely differently, and I think he would have too. I don't know. But it's like, you know, I see the guy twice a week. I now have known the guy a year. I've never thought he wasn't funny. It's just one of those, it was just a shit thing in my eyes that shouldn't have happened, you know, on any level. I don't think anybody should have done any of that. That's my opinion.
You received shit from that? Like it hurt you? It didn't hurt you career-wise or anything, did it?
Hold on, you're cutting. I can't hear you at all.
Of course, with my shit phone. Can you hear me now?
I can. Yeah.
Okay. Did that hurt you? Like that? You said you got some repercussions from that. It wasn't anything career-related, was it?
Oh no. I mean, that's not it.
You just got fans and shit talking shit.
Yeah, but to more of a, you know, I mean, you're talking about things from death threats to...
Oh, Jesus.
You know, I mean, it was a really big... I was surprised that other people could take something to such a level, but, you know, it's a valuable lesson in the days of doing entertainment and the internet being available. But yeah, I don't think, people said shit to Kevin that was disgusting. I didn't, and then people said shit to me that was disgusting, and that's why I think the whole thing was just, a fucking disaster. And I don't think that was the intention by any means,
No, but I will tell you, not being involved at all, not having any dog in the fight, I was fucking highly entertained. I'll be honest with you. It was one of the...
I know, it's fine. That's, right after Kevin looked at me and said that was great radio. So
that's awesome.
We played it off like it was, and it was supposed to be a thing that just didn't happen the way that it should have. But, I mean, look, a lot of people hated me, a lot of people hated him, and a lot of them have come around to both of us. So whatever, shit happens, and I hold no grudge or anything about it.
Oh, I like the both of you. Obviously, I like you. I've been bugging you for how long now to talk to you. So obviously, I like you, and I think you're hilarious as a comedian, and I like the ranty Kevin. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, he's very funny. He's got balls of steel,
He's an angrier Jim Florentine, if you ask me.
Yeah, and then I like Brian as well as co-host. So I mean, I think I like that show that he does, and I think he's obviously a perfect fit for Anthony's network.
Oh, yeah, we'll keep that away. I did try to watch a fair one because I saw a ton of stuff on Twitter today about your reactions and your faces. You started going into your...
Watch that part.
Yes, everybody go and watch a fair one. What was that? The Tuesday episode or the Wednesday episode? They broadcast on Wednesdays, and I didn't continue to watch it because you got into some childhood stuff, and when you started, getting into some questions that I wanted to ask you tonight, so I didn't want to know the answers. But I'm going to be going and watching that episode. But holy shit, did that black guy slam the other black guy and almost kill him?
Like a ragdoll, dude. That was amazing. I can't believe that the dude, it was mid-air he turned into a ragdoll. I think he passed out from fear before his death.
How is he not dead? How is that guy alive?
I couldn't, I don't know if he is alive. I don't know.
All right. Okay. Dave Landau of the Anthony Cumia Show with Dave Landau, who, by the way, when are they going to make the font bigger? That's just a personal thing with me. But thank you for coming on the show. Is there anything you want my 17 to 42 listeners to know about Dave Landau or where you're going to be?
You can check me out at davelandau.com for tour dates, Landau. But if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to Compound Media. Use code Compound20, that's capital C, Compound20, for 20% off for limited time. It's just a few bucks and totally worth it. And the reason why we are behind a paywall is so we don't have to bend over to sponsors. We want to be able to say whatever we want. So please go to, download the Cumia app or go to compoundmedia.com.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time. And hope maybe one day we can talk again.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks a lot, buddy.
All right, man.
See ya.
All right, bye.
That was the great Dave Landau. Very hilarious comedian. And hopefully we get to have him on the podcast. Hopefully we can actually sit down sometime and actually talk. But yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed that. That's the interview. That's the show for tonight. Because we talked for, Jesus, what the hell was it? We spoke for info. How do I find that? 38 minutes. See? 38 minutes with Dave Landau. 38 minutes with Dave Landau. So, hope you guys enjoyed the show. On a Wednesday night. It's a work night for me, so I'm tired as fuck. I gotta get up at 4:30 in the morning. And put on the old boots there. Get back to the work, blue collar Jimmy there. So, appreciate you listening. This is episode 34. Check us out on... Oh, by the way, I'm on Minds. Did I tell you that yet? I'm on Minds? Yeah, I think I told you that at the beginning of the show. Follow me on Minds. Follow me on Instagram. Gab. I got to get back on Gab. I've been shitting the bed on Gab. I've not been doing a good job. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, The I'm Just Saying Show, Justin Werley. Look them all up. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. And we hope to see you next week. Hope you like the show. Thank you all for listening. And I don't know, something creative that some other guy said that I'm going to quote somewhere. All right, later!
I'm just saying, don't get upset. Let's get to the bottom of it. I'm just saying, don't you take it personally. I'm just saying.